Hello everyone, Happy New Year and welcome back. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Chris Halstead, Managing Director of Sales for Brown Harris Stevens, Connecticut. And as always, such a pleasure to be here with you, and thank you all for tuning in. First and foremost, I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season and is back, refreshed, and ready to go as we bring in 2026. But wait. Before we kick 2026 off, let's not forget to discuss how the real estate market closed out 2025. Today, we'll be discussing fourth quarter activity as well as some bigger full-year trends across our 12 towns here in Lower Fairfield County. Now, before I get going with statistics, I'm so happy to introduce you to one of our brand new Brown Harris Stevens exclusives, freshly listed to kick 2026 off with a bang. Today I'm coming to you from 20 Marianne Road in Darien, listed by our incredible agent Serena Richards for $4,495,000. Just minutes from downtown, the train, and all the wonderful amenities the town has to offer, this newly completed modern colonial new construction home is comprised of an impressive 6,500 square feet and sits on a 1.2 acre private lot. On the first floor of the home, the custom kitchen is the true centerpiece, complete with massive stone island and high-end appliances. From the kitchen, you effortlessly flow into a beautifully appointed great room with beamed ceiling and gas fireplace. Upstairs, the showstopper is the serene primary suite with vaulted ceilings and a private balcony. There's so much more to tell you, but I'd rather you come see it for yourself. Be in touch with Serena to schedule a visit before it's too late. Alright, now, let's see how we rounded out Q4. As always, let's kick things off with a look at inventory. Let's be honest. It's fair to say that throughout the course of all of 2025, Lower Fairfield County's housing market was primarily defined by limited, to put it mildly, inventory. The fourth quarter was no different. On average, house inventory through the quarter ran about 7% lower than a year ago and finished out the year significantly below historical norms. Condo inventory was actually flat when compared to the same period last year, but is also still significantly lower than historical figures. On the flip side, though, you could also argue that the Lower Fairfield County market was also defined by very steady demand and rising prices. Get this, the average closing price across the 12 towns for the quarter cracked $2 million for the first time ever. To put that in perspective, in 2019, the year before the COVID correction, the average sale price for the quarter was under $1 million. Now, I know averages aren't always a fair measure because the outliers can skew the data. And admittedly, the high end of the market crushed it. There were 89 house sales over $4 million, up from 65 in Q4 24. So, if you think median is a more accurate measure for 2025, the median house sale price finished up at $1,330,000, while the median condo sale price closed out at $500,000. Both of those numbers are record highs. And since I already hinted that the high end of the market performed exceptionally well throughout the quarter and really the year in total, I thought it was very interesting to see that the super high end of the market, meaning sales north of $10 million, was really impressive. Throughout 2025, there were 46 sales north of $10 million, more than doubling the number from 2024. To help continue to push those impressive closing figures on an upward trend, demand has remained consistent throughout the whole year. This is clearly evident when you look at the pace of the market. Combined house and condo closings had a median of just 20 days on market, marking one of the fastest fourth quarter paces on record. As for list to sale price, the fourth quarter average was 102.2%, with 50% of all the transactions closing above the asking price. Looking at the full year, no surprise that the average list to close was over 100%, with an astounding 56% of all sales closing over ask. Alright, let me slow down for a minute. There is no doubt about it, those sales figures are exciting. But I know the truth of the matter is that this year was a hard one for a lot of people. Our limited inventory led to massive bidding wars, with buyers losing out time and time again. And as I'm sure you've seen in the news, some brokerages have resorted to taking their listings off the market. excluding a huge portion of the market from having the opportunity to compete for those homes. And frankly, in my opinion, doing a huge disservice to their sellers by not exposing their homes to the market. It's a quick way for the brokerage to make an extra buck for themselves at the expense of all the consumers. Looking out ahead of 2026, I'm hopeful that we'll see some inventory come onto the market to ease things a bit. Time will tell. But certainly, for the foreseeable future, this market remains firmly a seller's market. So if you're ready to make a move, now's the time to capitalize on the market momentum. I just hope that if you do decide to sell, you really think twice about what your agent's motivation is if they're pressing you to sell off market. Statistics don't lie. The data I've just shared with you is too impressive to ignore. Alright, let's shift gears and bring it home touching on mortgages. We've got some positive news here. To set the stage, and if you'll remember, as we kicked off last year, rates were headed north of 7%. This year, though, looks like we're headed in the opposite direction. The 30-year fixed mortgage closed out the quarter dipping down to 6.15%, the lowest level of the year. And even though we're not talking about 2026 yet, if the first week of the year is any indication of where we're headed, I expect we'll see some needed relief for buyers. And, maybe more importantly, hopefully, we'll finally hit a number where existing homeowners holding sub-4s and even sub-3s, who have been waiting to sell their homes for financial reasons rather than need-based reasons, will finally decide the time is right. Alright everybody, that's a wrap on 2025. As always, thanks for tuning in today as we closed out the year, and a special thanks to all of you who have been watching me consistently each month. I'm already excited to see what the first month of 2026 has in store for us, and we'll be delighted to share with you in early February. In the meantime, if you have any questions or need help, please be in touch with me or any one of our Brown Harris Stevens agents. As always, for more in-depth market statistics, please visit our Mastery of Connecticut webpage, where you'll find all of Brian Cleary's town-by-town reports. So long, everybody, and Happy New Year again.